Hello, it is Bones again, here with another video. My goodness, we are on a roll. And today I'm not going to be looking at some of the questions I got. I saved them on my phone, so I will get back to them. But as you can see from the video rolling right now, I was doing some webcomic verticalization, so optimizing for Webtoon, and I wanted to talk about that. Before I do, I would like you to like, and I would like you to subscribe, please and thank you if you haven't already. Comment what you're doing on comics today. This is the accountability zone. I get a comment which feeds the algorithm. You get accountability every day when you work on your comics. It's amazing. And I was thinking, if you are a lurker or shy about writing comics or in a rush, what you should do is put one emoji to represent the art aspect you did. So like a pencil, if you were doing some penciling or sketching, and then put a little face beside it to represent your feelings. Okay, that's that's what I want you to do. I want to see some emojis. You can add them on top of your longer winded comments if you want as well. Thank you. That helps a lot. Now on to the actual advertised topic. Sorry for all of that. YouTube is a beast. So, verticalizing. What is it? Why is it? Should you do it? Let's start with how. So when it comes to verticalizing, what I like to do is I set up a template file in Procreate or in Clip Studio or whatever. And the template is about 950 pixels across and 10,000 up and down. You can do longer, but it just becomes unmanageable when you do that. And you can fit enough in 10,000. You'll be fine. And then I take all of my comic files, I export them as like a high quality JPEG, and then I just go through them one at a time, do a little select tool around them, cut and paste them. I stretch them out as much as I can without it looking all weird. Sometimes I will crop images a bit because the way that they're set up on a comic page is a little, like, sometimes you'll have like a much wider picture on a comic page just because you're filling out the aspect ratio of the comic page and there's some superfluous information on the edges, and I just stretch and will like crop that out. And then I just do that one by one, and then I will crop the image to what I want it to be. And if the episode ends up being longer, I make another one and we just continue, and I label them all nicely. I label them with like a little code for like what comic I'm working on, what number of episode it is, and then like a letter to represent what part of the episode it is, so that everything gets uploaded all nicely. And it doesn't take that long. If for me, it took me about 15 minutes to finish verticalizing 7 pages. It took a little longer for my more artistic pages. You'll see those being done as well. There's some Elder God panels where everything's a lot more free-flowing, and I just kind of cut things out to the best of my ability. I make the background color the same, not the background, the gutter color. I usually use the color of the gutter for the background of the panels. And yeah, that's how I do it. It's really simple, okay? Now, I think the more interesting thing is why to do this, why I do this, should you do this? I think that it's a good idea. I think it sucks from an artistic standpoint because I have a hate relationship, mostly a hate relationship with Webtoon. I like to think of it as a social media platform, and I would consider it. Also, can you believe they added like a weird TikTok feature? Like, why do we need that? Like, question, like, why did they add TikTok to Webtoon? Anyways, whatever. But I think of it as social media anyways, and I think of it as cutting up a YouTube video for a YouTube short, where like the aspect ratio will completely change. You have to do something different for the format, and it's just gonna look weird. It's not the intended format, and I don't think it should be the intended format of your comic. I mean, I guess it could be, but this is just a rant about Webtoon and Tapas, basically. Let's move past that, okay? Let's move past that. I'm just gonna get sassy. So with that in mind, I don't care too much about making things perfect. You shouldn't care about making it perfect. It's just Webtoon. It's just a social media post. At the end of your comic, you should link to your preferred site where people can see the pages in their actuality. When it comes to Webtoon and Tapas is a bit better, but I don't know, like, you're gonna end up with a really crunchy looking file no matter what you do. Like, the Webtoon viewer is just very crunchy. They're very lossy files, and that's part of the reason why you should do it as well, because it gets really difficult in the Webtoon app to actually zoom in on panels. It becomes an accessibility thing. I think that's one of my main reasons to do it was people were having difficulty reading the panels, reading what's in the bubbles. So blowing up each panel will help with that, because it takes like, I think it's like a 20-point font for things to be very clear in Webtoon. You're not going to necessarily be able to hit that if you're just blowing up panels, but you will make it better. So like with that in consideration, you know, like you're usually using like a 12-point font for your bubbles. So without blowing it up, it becomes very difficult. And when they zoom in on it, it doesn't necessarily make it easier for people. And another reason I do it is it's just the expected format there. It will engage readers more, and it gives this optical illusion that you are doing bigger updates than you are. It's kind of silly. Okay, it's like very silly, but when you post 2 pages on Webtoon and you like break up the panels, it feels way longer, because I think readers on Webtoon are a little more impatient. They won't look at the panels slowly unless you feed them to them slowly. I think it's just kind of a thing. I don't know. I think when you serve the panels slower, it can help readers to digest them slower. There's a lot that you lose out on with vertical comics. I think there's a lot of things you can do with them, and I think they're cool, and if you like make them specifically for it, they can be very interesting. I just kind of dislike them in general, just because of what they've done to the comic space. They don't have like, I think it's very interesting how they control time as you scroll. I love seeing like gradients and things as you fall down. Like, those are really cool. Like, there's some old-fashioned comics that are like that. I wish I knew, but like early internet. But it wasn't necessarily scrolling. It was like following a comic through like you had like a very large image, and you were in a very small portion of it. And if you like scroll through it, like it would bring you through the whole path. And that stuff is so cool. And vertical comics are a little like that. I think they're good for like reading on your phone. I get that, especially for like accessibility. It can be very difficult to read a comic on your phone. That's just like a problem with the modern day like internet, right? Is like everyone's on their phones. Everyone's kind of like looking at things for very brief amounts of time, so they don't really lock in. It's like if you're gonna sit down to read comics, like, I get it. Like, a lot of people like to read comics, like, while they're on the bus, you know? Like, you're traveling somewhere. You want to privately read something. Like, I understand that. But it doesn't make me less frustrated. I guess the problem is that, like, becomes, like, the only way that you're, like, interacting with comics. And that can be... I think that's the frustration. The frustration that, like, this is, like, the main form of comics in recent years, and it's very corporatized and weird. I just think of it as social media. I value my my Comic Fury a lot. If you don't use Comic Fury, or if you do, make sure to like support them if you can. They're a very small site. I think it's one person, but yeah, they're cool. If you don't know what Comic Fury is, I did a whole video breaking down like every website. This has just devolved into another rant about Webtoon and tapas. It's always in my heart and mind. Like if I start thinking about it a little bit, I just get so annoyed. Like what is like I do not understand. Like why does every app have to become TikTok? Like I do not interact with TikTok or Shorts at all. I think Ursula's tried to make Shorts for this channel, but I just don't do it. I can never get into them. I'm so happy I don't have the TikTok ADHD where like that sucks me in. I just get so bored doing that. I have the ADHD where I watch a 8-hour video. That's very boring. I watch a lot of live streams, you know? I got that brain right. I don't have the infinite scroll micro content thing going on. I just feel my brain boiling in my head when that happens, and I don't know why we need to add this to Webtoon. Okay, so anyone else feel like this? Like Jesus, like I just want to do comics. Okay, I just want a space for comics that respects comics. Like I don't, and it's the worst too because something like that might be like a great place for me, right? But I refuse. I'm refusing. This is me putting up my hands and refusing to do that. I'm not doing that. Okay. Oh my god. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. It's the weekend today, right? Based on when this will go out publicly. I guess for members, you're having a happy Friday. So enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll answer questions. If you have questions, I will continue to put them on my phone and go through them. So don't think I missed them or anything. All right, goodbye.